I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is the Firehouse Building Committee meeting, May 27, 2025 in the Harvey Hearing Room. Call the meeting to order and a roll call. 1 second. Karen Chavez.
Here.
Anna Belcher.
Here.
Council President Lettieri. Here. Joe Hanlon.
Here.
Jack Dempsey. Jill Dorr.
Here.
Kim Dunn.
Here.
Paul Flanagan.
Here.
Stephen Calandra.
Here.
Shannon Poulos. Myself. Mark Wallace. Okay, we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So the only item we have on the agenda tonight is to vote on the recommendation for the OPM, the Owner's Project Manager from the Firehouse Building Subcommittee. So for the record, we had 8 companies that submitted RFQs. They were all scored by the Firehouse Building Committee, the council president, the town manager. We all scored them, brought the 8 down to 4. Those 4 came to the senior center last week, and each one gave a brief presentation followed by a series of questions. And then we discussed it after that, and then a lot of discussion amongst the people on the subcommittee. There were a lot of phone calls that were made to various cities and towns that these companies have done work for. Some are currently still working in. We called the principals of the companies, some with success, some with marginal success. We asked a lot of questions of these different companies, the different presidents of the companies, and the different people that they listed as references in the communities that they've worked in. And comfortable to say that the subcommittee is recommending that the project manager for this project would be P3 company. P3 is Project Planning Professionals. Daniel Pilata is the president out of Norwell. So we will be recommending that to the town manager, who will ultimately make the decision.
Sorry, can you repeat the name?
P3 Project Planning Professionals.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion amongst any of the committee members?
I can start it off.
Sure.
I did contact 2 people from P3. Both references got back to me almost immediately. I contacted them on Thursday. One got back to me right away on Thursday, and the other one first thing Friday morning. Both gave outstanding references. I was still a little bit uncomfortable, so I talked to the town manager about my concerns, and he talked to me about them. So on Friday, I called Daniel Pilata, who is he the owner, president?
He's the president.
Of the company, and he and I had quite a lengthy conversation, and I felt much better afterwards. I also did contact CMS. I called 2 people, left messages. As of now, I still have not heard back from either one of them. That was Thursday.
For references?
For references, I have not heard back from either one of them. One was Greenfield and the other I think was Sudbury. I did not try to contact the owner of this company. I think we were all very impressed with Mr. Pilata, what he had to say, what he's done in the past. The last thing he said to me on Friday, now this was Friday afternoon, the holiday weekend, 3:30 in the afternoon. He said to me, no matter what you decide, he said, I wish you all the luck. So anyways, that's that and just references and talking to people, that's why I chose P3.
Can I ask, Karen, what were your primary concerns that are now assuaged?
There was one of the people that was there with it was a little bit giddy. But I was told that not used to being out speaking in public, so that kind of alleviated that.
Okay.
And how big a company are they?
Good size. I mean, they've built a lot in the western part of the state, a lot in Westfield. They're doing a lot in Taunton right now. They're building, I forget how many stations in Taunton
I
right
believe
now.
it's 5 total.
Yeah, in Taunton.
Fire?
Yeah.
Doing rehabbing, major
Rehab,
rehabs
yeah.
and forward one total new construction.
And it was the chief of staff of the mayor of Taunton was one of the people that I contacted who got back to me the same day with excellent recommendations, and then the other one was Westfield, and she was the procurement officer. So, I mean, if you wanna, if my book is here, if anybody wants to look at it, I'll put my notes up so you don't have to read my notes.
They were my top choice on paper and after the interview. I had some apprehension, but that's been cleared up as well. It was the same kind of scenario, the giddiness, is that what you called it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was happy to see the diversity on their panel and in their workforce, and they promised to do us right.
I scored P3 the highest also. And they seem to be the most pliable,
Joe wants to look
people
at
that
this.
will answer the phone. The rest of them seem too big, like they have too many
Yeah.
projects going on,
Yeah.
you know. I think we would have put on the back burner with some of the.
That's the other company, Joe, CMS.
One of the notes I took on them was that they seem to be really like, have like a field heavy team. Was that consistent with the feedback from the recommendation?
You're talking about P3 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Daniel Pilata had said to us, if you pick me tonight, I'll be starting on my way home in the car.
Yeah.
I remember him saying that.
Yes, yep.
So it sounds like he's, he's feet on the ground, he's there. And he did say he would be at a lot of the meetings.
And he did, and they did make a commitment that there would be somebody on site on the project every day that there
Every
was
day.
construction,
I
somebody.
think that's big. And they were the only, like, I think CMS was like my second choice.
They likewise.
But that's kind of what put P3 ahead in my head, was like how on the
So
ground basis.
if everybody is comfortable, we're happy to take a vote, take a voice vote. Send this recommendation to the town council to the town manager for his approval, so all those in favor of P3 say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous, thank you. Is there anything else anybody else would like to speak about before we adjourn this quick meeting?
I think just talk about the process now.
Yeah, oh, of course, what's gonna happen
So
next?
we hope that town manager will respect the wishes from the Firehouse Building Committee, talk to P3, get a contract. And they're gonna hit the ground running. One of the things also with P3 is that they had a lot of success in finishing projects before the deadline and under budget. We're in a unique position where we're in a hurry because it's been so long, but we're not in a rush. We wanna be able to do it right. I mean, we have some flexibility that other cities and towns just don't have, being able to keep our firemen where they are now, firefighters. So, we're in a rush, but not in a hurry. We want it done, but we want it done right. So, we feel really comfortable with them. So the process after this is we will immediately go out for an architect, I'm sure, and we will go out to bid for an architect. We'll then look for a company to come in to do the abatement of the building with the asbestos and such. And then find a company to come in to do demolition.
Yeah.
And the goal is to have demolition done mid to late fall of this calendar year.
So we would follow a very similar process to this with the OPM for the architect.
Yep.
We'll send out RFQs.
Yes.
Probably anticipate getting somewhere in the neighborhood of 8. Maybe more, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, and somewhere in there we'll
With the same scoring
narrow the
system.
field
Yeah.
down, and then we'll conduct some interviews again and work. The beauty of it is we'll have the OPM to help us with the architects and saying, I've worked with this company in the past, had success with them, and then actually from there, we start to look for the builder and things.
Right. And then that's a process too, depending on what we go with sales bids or if we go with CM at risk. And we'll talk about the advantages and disadvantages of both. Get that going also.
It's exciting, it's gonna be fun.
Excellent.
Is the OPM, is it a percentage of the overall project? How do they come up with the price? I think when KB did it, they came up with a percentage, which we think is a little high.
It's usually 4%, but it was a little smidge high, so
And I think there is some negotiation there that we'll be able to get that.
They had, I think, 1.2 or 1.1 in the original construction estimates. We put it out not to exceed 950. So. That's what we're at.
And that was in the RFQ, not to exceed 9.
Correct.
How do you get us newcomers, if you will, up to speed of boring, test boring, done or any of that?
No, that's why I want to get the building down. You know,
Yeah.
that was one of the things P3 spoke about was, you know,
Drill where you're gonna
the
put
three
it.
is, you know, what will, you know, any hidden cost or any surprise cost will be, you know, negated if we get the building
Revealed,
down, do the
right.
soil samples,
Yeah.
you know, do what we gotta do
Yeah.
and figure out what the foundation's gonna cost and everything else.
Usually if there's any surprises, that's where you're gonna
That's
find
what
it
you,
right away.
right, yeah.
Uh,
Was there
Daniel,
anything sunk in
Daniel
the
did
ground?
say to us too, or said to me on the phone on Friday that one of the females that was there, she's an engineer and she has an expertise in soil. So that was one of the reasons he had her with him the other night. And what project did he say that she had an issue with?
Oh, it was one of the ones that, I forget the town, but they demoed a building and they found that they had buried the prior building underneath.
Right, which we don't know about this.
Yeah, I know, we don't know what could be under there, yeah.
We don't know
That's not cemetery,
Was that-
that's not our building.
I went to the school.
Was that one
Yeah.
building?
No, it was
brick
no,
building?
it was brick,
It was a brick.
yeah.
They-
So,
They built our firehouse, nothing's ever been torn down in the country yet.
yeah.
But no, that building was the old high school and yes, it was brick.
It was brick.
It was brick. So God only knows what's there. I mean, I don't know because I wasn't involved in that, you know, when they tore that down and put up that middle school. Cause that was like, I don't know, late sixties maybe?
Mid to late 60s.
Yeah.
It's 100 years newer than the firehouse.
Yeah.
They're tearing it
So-
down.
Yeah, exactly.
I do have my emails if anybody wants to see them from the two people.
It's a great step forward.
Yep.
Our next meeting, is that gonna be just TBA, to be announced?
Well, I think we would like to have a representative from
Yeah.
P3
Hoping to have a
P3
meeting
come and
within a
speak
week
to us.
Oh,
with
within
a
a week, okay.
representative from
Karen.
P3 there to
Yeah.
introduce themselves to the
Okay.
whole committee
Yeah.
and to the public.
Well, council's Tuesday night.
Mhm.
And I have ORC on Wednesday night.
We could do as soon as next week, the 4th, following week, the 11th.
Can't do the
11th.
4th.
Can't do the 4th.
I can't do the 4th.
Me neither.
Okay, you wanna do the 11th?
We can do the 5th.
I can't do the 5th.
Okay. You do the 2nd.
I'm in Nantucket,
Well, the 11th?
just second to the
I
fifth,
can't do the
11th.
second.
I can't
get
do the
next
second.
week.
Okay.
Second, I can't do that.
The 11th?
The 11th, Wednesday,
Yeah, that's awesome.
check for availability on
Yeah,
the
that
time.
works, you get a meeting the 10th, right, special meeting the 10th, yeah. That'll work, I mean,
And
work for me.
the town council has a meeting on
The 10th, yeah.
the 10th with the planning board.
So 6/11 with a time to be determined later, we'll say,
Okay.
I'll reach out to
Um,
Mr. Plata, make sure he can make it. I'll call him on the way home, let him know the good news.
Okay,
and then,
that's great.
as we told all the other interviewees, or that they would be notified as to the results.
Yep, yeah, we'll let them know tomorrow. We already let them know, I did check with Dylan, he was making those phone calls, so.
Oh, for the
People
other,
that didn't get
The other
interviewed.
4 that didn't get
Yeah.
interviewed.
And then we'll let the other 3 know that didn't get it.
Alright, with that, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Ken Dunn, second.
Second.
Second by the deputy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 5:15.